Colorado gardening expert says that gardeners can save the world. Dog shows and beer contests have more in common than you think, and we find out why you have to pace the taste at Taste of Durango. These stories and more on this edition of Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon.
You're watching Inside Durango News, your source for information about Southwest Colorado. Brought to you by Oxford Asset Management, inspiring confidence, growing dreams. Oxford Asset Management.
As a kid, you were probably told not to touch baby birds because your odor would drive their parents from the nest and the babies would die of neglect. Well, that's actually an old wives' tale. Birds don't have a really good sense of smell, but leave the birds alone. Wild birds don't need human help to survive. And when they do need help, there's Pat Jackson, founder and executive director of the St. Francis Sanctuary and Wildlife Rehabilitation Center for Birds in Arboles. Ms. Jackson will give a talk about her rehabilitation center during a presentation scheduled for 9 a.m. Saturday, May 24th at the Picnic Pavilion at Navajo Lake State Park in Arboles. The talk is free and open to the public. However, a park pass is required. It will cost $7 to enter the park. Jackson will introduce Dooley, a disabled peregrine falcon who has become a mascot for the St. Francis Sanctuary. Jackson has built a 6,800 square foot flight aviary on her acreage in Arboles. Currently, she has a nest of baby starlings in her care, but she's nursed everything from hummingbirds to golden eagles back to health. She brought her most recent charges to her video store in Pagosa Springs so that she could feed them regularly. Dooley needs to be fed by hand 3 to 4 times a day because of his permanent injuries. He has a crippled wing, and the razor-sharp tip of his beak that would be used to tear off flesh was broken off. Peregrine falcons, she said, were once an endangered species, their numbers decimated by DDT and other pesticides. But they're hardy birds, and they have had relationships with humans since the pharaohs.
They're very ancient birds, and they live on every continent except Antarctica and the Arctic, but they do live on the Alaskan tundra, and some migrate over 15,000 miles, but come back to nest in the same place every year. And the Egyptians used them for hunting and sporting events, and their god Horus, H-O-R-U-S, is depicted as half peregrine and half man, so they had a great reverence for these birds.
A nationwide peregrine breeding and restoration program has been quite successful, with the raptors finding homes from the ledges of skyscrapers to the cliffs at Chimney Rock. They can dive over 400 miles an hour, and they mate for life. To learn more about the raptors and the St. Francis Sanctuary, visit letthembefree.org. Forget nice, neat rows of vegetables and flowers in your garden. If you really want to have a healthy Eden in your backyard, mimic nature. That was the message that Salida plant biologist Susan Twite brought to Durango during a presentation sponsored earlier this month by the Durango Botanical Society. The society, founded in November 2010, develops and designs public gardens in La Plata County to demonstrate and educate the community about sustainable gardening practices. The organization recently completed a demonstration garden on the river trail adjacent to the Durango Public Library. Twite is somewhat of a hero in the gardening world. She advocates for gardening methods that mimic nature and that take advantage of the natural relationships that exist between plants and animals.
Basically, look at the wildlands in your area and mimic that in your garden. So I don't care if you're planting lilacs and a lawn, if you can mimic the shrublands that are right around here, around Durango, then those plants will be happier together. And of course, the more native plants you can use, the better, because, well, they've lived here for a long time. They understand the environment. They can weather our crazy spring snowstorms and our droughts and all that kind of stuff. And they also have relationships with all of the other critters, some who we don't prefer to have in our yards, like the deer, but mostly the pollinators and the songbirds all have relationships with our native plants. So particularly if you're on the wave of edible gardening and you plant native plants, sort of mimicking the natural environment around you, you'll get a whole slew of insects and birds coming in that will help protect your edible garden from the pest insects.
Twite has written 12 books on gardening and rehabilitating landscapes that have been damaged and destroyed by poor stewardship, including industrial uses. She lives on a former industrial site in Salida and regularly blogs about her efforts to reclaim the land. She's a spokeswoman for the Audubon Society's Be a Habitat Hero program. The program advocates for the rehabilitation of severely damaged land. Dwight believes that good gardening practices that reflect the local ecosystem's plant and animal habitat has the potential to save the world.
The issue of pesticides and pollinators is going to be a huge one. It's a very big deal, and any gardener who can follow the sort of least harm methods for gardening that's really important. I mean, that's where we need to be going as gardeners, as opposed to just reaching for the can on the shelf and dumping it on our plants. Thinking to ourselves, okay, if I put a bluebird box up, they would eat my grasshoppers, and then I wouldn't have to use pesticides, and then I'd have bluebirds. Cool, I'll do that first. And then if I need some spot treatments, that's fine. But the whole idea that, back in the 50s and 60s, in the 1950s and 1960s, we all sort of bought into the whole chemical gardening thing and how chemicals were going to make our lives better. And they have in many ways. Without penicillin, we'd be in big trouble. But pesticides and herbicides, gardeners and homeowners use them at 10 times the level that farmers do. We use 10 times as many pesticides and herbicides as agriculture does, and that's deadly. It's deadly to ourselves. Pesticides are linked to Parkinson's disease, among other things. So if we can just think least harm first, sort of take our cue from doctors, do no harm first, and then if we need some kind of treatment, go for that.
To learn more about sustainable habitat-saving gardening practices, visit habhero.org or Twite's website at susanjtwite.com. Up next, the Taste of Durango.
First National Bank of Durango, committed to our community since 1882, where our friendly bankers help you achieve your financial goals.
We put you first!
Stop by one of our 5 locations or visit us online at fnbdurango.com.
Whether you make your plans over a barbed wire fence or over wireless internet, if you're coming from the stockyard or the stock exchange, Durango is right at home at the Diamond Bell, timeless and timely.
Welcome to the Irish Embassy Pub Durango. We import the majority of our products straight from the Emerald Isle, and let's get it right. You want your Guinness directly imported from Dublin. You want it stored at precisely the right temperature. And you want the pour to be a matter of taste and science. You want to pull with the patience and precision that it deserves. And if that wasn't authentic enough, you want to enjoy it in a pub where the shelves are stocked with 24 different kinds of Irish whiskey. Yes, you want the true Irish experience. Come visit us at the Irish Embassy Pub Durango.
You're watching Inside Durango TV. I'm Ashley Dixon. From beer and Bloody Marys to pie and Asian noodles, the annual Taste of Durango on May 18th in downtown Durango lived up to its promise of excellent food, excellent drink, and excellent entertainment. I wandered down to the event on Sunday with the Inside Durango TV camera crew and interviewed a foodie or two. Hey, it's Ashley with Inside Durango News. I'm here at Taste of Durango on Sunday. It's absolutely gorgeous out. There are tons of people crowding the streets. We're going to go talk to some folks and figure out what is tasting best at this year's Taste of Durango. I'm here with Aaron at Taste of Durango. Now, he's been doing the laps up and down the street, so what's tasting good so far?
Yellow carrot, mac and cheese, they're blackened steak and mushrooms, jalapeno poppers from Steamworks, Ken and Sue's, they're street noodles.
So what did you do to prepare for eating as much as you are probably going to eat today?
I didn't eat yesterday.
Starvation?
Yeah. Nice. Just a liquid diet yesterday.
Liquid diet. And so speaking of liquids, I mean, is this a pretty good place to come and sample the local libations?
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Oh yeah, it can get out of control really quickly.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it looks like you're reining it in.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Little Bloody Marys.
It still is before noon.
It is, so I'm pacing myself.
Pacing yourself. I would say that that's probably the name of the game for an event like this.
Yeah, I'd say so. Pace the taste.
Pace, there we go. You have coined the term for next year's Taste of Durango. Pace the taste. We're gonna go check out more places. All right, that's gonna do it for us here at Taste of Durango. Another good one in the books. Thousands of people crowding the streets, lots to eat, lots to drink, and the best part, it's all for a good cause. All the proceeds benefit Mana Soup Kitchen. So until next year, Durango, happy Taste of Durango. Yep, pace the taste. That's what it took to survive on Sunday. Taste of Durango featured 45 booths that provided taste to more than 12,000 fans. Taste of Durango donated more than $20,000 for the Mana Soup Kitchen. Winners of the Judges' Choice Award were the Yellow Carrot for Best Dessert, Ore House for Best Entree, The Flour Sack for Best Booth Decor, Cypress Cafe for the Best Cocktail, and the Derailed Saloon for the Best Mocktail. Winners of the People's Choice Award included Seasons for Best Entree, Yellow Carrot for Best Dessert, and Cypress Cafe for the Best Cocktail. The Taste of Durango is held the third Sunday in May. The event wasn't as flashy as the Durango Kennel Club Dog Show held the same weekend in Montezuma County Fairgrounds, but the participants were just as rabid about their entries. We're talking about the Animus Ailers Ska Brewing GABF Pro-Am Challenge. That's a beer brewing contest, viewers. Beer aficionados who like to brew their own beer at home entered 106 brews to find out who would be selected the best of show. And if the homegrown recipient merited, Ska Brewing would brew the winner commercially to enter it into the Great American Beer Festival, scheduled for October 2nd through the 4th in Denver. The Great American Beer Festival is the biggest beer competition in the nation. More than 2,700 beers are represented. In addition, the festival hosts the Pro-Am competition, with commercial brewers like Ska teaming up with a winning home brewer to compete with other homebrew commercial teams. Homebrew beer competitions are serious contests. At the Ska event, 6 certified judges carefully assessed every entry for aroma, color, effervescence, and of course, taste. They selected the best beer in each type, like the best lager or the best stout. Then the best beer in each category was entered into the best of show tasting. The beer that best represented the qualities of its class was chosen the winners, just like a dog show. But that comes later in our news program.
The beers were actually quite good today. There was, at the best of show table, we really had a good selection. Had a hard time picking out the best one.
This year's team of judges was particularly impressive, said organizer Bill Downs. 3 of the judges have national certifications as tasters, and 2 held National Homebrewer of the Year honors from the American Homebrewers Association. And who did they select as this year's winner of the Ska Pro-Am competition? Ernie Smith for his Dragonfly Amber, a Vienna lager. Smith is from Casper, Wyoming. It all started as a bet between 2 brothers in 1971. Tom Mayer bet his older brother Jim, a train engineer on the Iron Horse, that he could beat the train to Silverton on his 10-speed bike, traveling 47 miles, climbing 5,555 feet over 2 mountain passes. After conquering the challenge, it quickly became an annual event, and now the Iron Horse Classic is one of the biggest bike races in the country. This weekend, the Iron Horse Classic takes over Durango for another year, with 3 days full of events. Over the past 42 years, events have been added to the Classic train race. There have been criteriums, circuit races, road races, tours, BMX races, trials, dual slaloms, team trials ride, and mountain bike races. The heart and soul of the event is the Classic Citizens Tour, limited to 2,400 riders. The group departs downtown Durango at 7:35 a.m. and then continues on U.S. Highway 550 up to Coalbank Pass, where the riders must be at the summit by 11:30 or they miss the cutoff. Riders can look forward to 4 different aid stations along the course, dishing up food and water, but there is no technical support. That means if you get a flat tire, you better have the right supplies to fix it yourself. With thousands of bikers on the road, 550 will be closed until 1 p.m. on Saturday. If you plan to meet your rider in Silverton, you'll have to spend Friday night there, or you'll need to leave Durango before 7 a.m. Riders are not allowed to bike back to Durango after the race, so they have to ride back, or they can take the train or bus back to town. Also during the Citizens Tour is the Durango to Silverton Road Race, limited to 200 Class A cyclists, the 25-mile quarter horse to Purgatory, and new this year, the Mountain Horse Tour, during which cyclists travel from Durango Mountain Resort to Silverton. While Saturday's races to Silverton focus on the road bikers, Sunday's activities switch gears to showcase Durango's world-class mountain bike trails. Fort Lewis College plays host to the Iron Horse cross-country races with more than 30 different categories of riders, from professionals to 10-year-olds to those over 60. Also on Sunday in the heart of downtown are children's races at 10 a.m. and the Cruiser Criterium at noon. Both events are free, and the Criterium usually attracts a fair amount of spectators as well as participants who usually darn some outlandish costumes. Whether you plan to ride in one of the events or are looking to attend as a spectator, the Iron Horse Bicycle Classic attracts visitors from far and wide and has become one of the busiest weekends in Durango, with a significant amount of tourist traffic flooding the central business district for the 3-day Memorial Day weekend. For more information on this weekend's schedule of events, check out the IronHorseBicycleClassic.com. As we promised, why dog shows are like beer contests, up next.
Who knew that I would be helping people into a cycling lifestyle for 34 years? And during that 34 years, things have changed a lot.
Working on toys, basically. Toys for adults, toys for kids, things that make people happy, keep people healthy.
You know, that's a real nice thing about this shop. Developing those relationships with our customers is really a plus here. I've made a lot of real good friends.
You're watching Inside Durango TV. I'm Ashley Dixon. Durango is a dog town, no doubt about it. And more than 400 dogs of every shape, size, color, and hairdo imaginable were at the Montezuma County Fairgrounds May 16th through the 18th for the annual Durango Kennel Club Dog Show. Despite all the grooming and primping dog owners and handlers bestow on their beloved purebreds, make no mistake, dog shows are not a beauty contest. Just like the beer contest we talked about earlier in the show, it's all about the dog that best exemplifies the breed.
It's a passion. I love it. I mean, the reason I love it so much is because a lot of people think that dog shows are all about just having a dog that's just pretty. It's not about that. It's about the standard of the dog, what what they're supposed to be used for. I mean, if anybody ever in their young life and still today read the Lewis and Clark expedition, you'll know all about Newfoundlands.
Picard. He is a rare French herding dog. There are about 4,000 in the world, about 400 in the United States. If you look at a medieval tapestry, you will see a dog that looks exactly like Garçon. My husband saw one at a shopping mall, called me up and said, we need to get one of these. Well, I show him because it is a rare breed and we want to promote the breed in terms of increasing the gene pool. And in order to breed to him, he needs to be shown and have judges approve of his conformation and things. So he also does herding trials, which he loves. Come to the dog show.
Some of those poodles are over the top, but the pom-pom trims on their feet and hips actually serve a purpose, to keep them warm. According to one specialist at the show, poodles actually are water dogs, and if they were to dive into the water without grooming, their fur would weigh them down and drown them. Those Germans who created the breed trimmed them to stay warm while swimming. Go figure. And I always thought it was because they had overzealous hairdressers. Speaking of overzealous, who do I have in my studio today?
Ken Fagerland.
The Crow.
The Crow.
And?
Liz Mora with the Women's Resource Center.
And since you're dressed up and you're with the Women's Resource Center, I can only assume that we're talking about Men Who Grill.
Correct.
Very exciting. This is one of my favorite events in Durango. So for those who might not have been in the past, how did this event come about and what is it all about?
This is our 11th year of Men Who Grill. It first started out in the picnic grounds of Edgemont Ranch, and it has moved downtown, and we've been in Buckley Park for our 2nd year now.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So this is all about grilling. It's an amateur grilling competition, correct?
Exactly.
So how many teams do you guys have? Or normally, how many teams do you have?
Our goal is always 20 per year. That's how many we can fit in Buckley Park.
Okay, and so I'm assuming you're dressed up because...
This is just every day.
This is just every day?
Yes, I'm just down to help.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be a Durango festival if there weren't costumes, correct?
Correct. So we were looking for an event in the community that we felt strong about to participate in. And we picked out Men Who Grill, and we found out that there was a couple categories, a costume category and a cuisine category. So I took over the costume category for Backcountry Experience, and Ben Rockus took over the food category. And we kind of divided and we split and divided and conquered, and this was the costume week.
This was the best, and it won Best Costume, correct?
2013 Best Costume, and they actually had Best Poultry.
Go figure. So are you going back to defend your title again this year?
We are, absolutely. Bring it on, folks.
Nice.
We're defending.
So this is all a benefit for the Women's Resource Center, and I know you wouldn't be able to do it without some of the great sponsors that you got in the community. I know you wanted to show some of them some love as well. So who's helping you out putting this event on this year?
This year's presenting sponsors are Morehart Murphy Subaru and Directory Plus, and they have been Directory Plus has been a sponsor for all 11 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty exciting. 99X, BP Steamworks and ConocoPhillips, Durango Urgent Care, Stewart Title, Classique Built, Epic Magazine, Southwest Appliance, C&J Gravel, Bank of Colorado, and Inhabit.
See, we just live in a community that has tons of community-minded businesses, so it's always great. Now, this is a really fun event. People that may not have the means to put a team together, this is all-you-can-eat barbecue, so where can people get tickets?
They can get tickets on our website, www.wrcdurango.org, Maria's Bookshop, Backcountry Experience, and at the center itself. We're located on 679 East 2nd Avenue, unit number 6 in the Meyer building.
Nice. So I know that this event usually is pretty busy. I was there last year and it was, you guys had way more people than you were expecting. So definitely want people to get tickets in advance?
Yep. Tickets, and they're cheaper. It's $20 in advance, $25 at the door. And Buckley Park is definitely a great venue. And I have a feeling that will double the numbers this year.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be another, I mean, obviously costumes, that means it's a Durango festival, but entertainment and beer. I know you're going to have someone on the stage as well.
The Kirk James Blues Band.
Very nice.
For the 8th year in a row.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Steamworks Beer.
Perfect.
As well, so they have been a beer sponsor for a long time as well.
So Ken, are you going to disclose what your menu is going to be like this year, or is that something you're playing close to the chest?
All I'm going to say is come on down and eat crow.
Eat crow.
And we're gonna
so maybe a
have
poultry theme again.
Perhaps.
All right, so for people that want to learn more about the Women's Resource Center and just how this benefits them, the website a good place to go for that?
That's an excellent spot.
Awesome. And I mean, we've got so many events, and I think this one in particular, all the money goes to benefit the nonprofit?
The nonprofit and our operating. And so we are open to women and girls 5 days a week, and that is what this fundraiser supports.
Perfect.
Is keeping it open so they can come in for resources at any time.
Is this one of your bigger fundraisers of the year?
It is one of the biggest. Our Girls Night Out fundraiser is
I've been to that one too, and that one's pretty good.
Well, I'll probably be on the air for that as well.
Yeah, great. Well, we love to give the Women's Resource Center love, so for people who want to get your tickets in advance, you can get them at Backcountry Experience, Maria's Bookshop, WRC Durango, or WRC.org. Or make sure you get them in advance, because then you can save yourself some money. So I'm excited to see what you guys bring. I've got a team myself, so.
And there's still room for more teams.
Oh, still room for more teams. So if you think you guys have the culinary chomps to go up against Ken and challenge the crows from Backcountry Experience, you should definitely check out WRC.org. All right, guys.
Okay, we'll see you down there.
Sounds good. Up next, our weekly updates.
It's time for rejuvenation with luxurious healing waters, breathtaking views, and lavish spa treatments at the Springs Resort and Spa in Pagosa Springs. Stay at the new Ecolux Hotel and enjoy 24-hour access to our 23 unique pools by the river. Indoors, relax in the hotel and enjoy therapeutic services at the spa. It's time for rejuvenation at the Springs Resort and Spa in Pagosa Springs.
Climb aboard the Dinosaur Train. Join Buddy the T-Rex and all your dinosaur friends for a Dinosaur Nature Trackers adventure.
Yeah, we're the Nature Trackers!
Discover new adventures aboard a real train ride with everyone's favorite T-Rex, Buddy.
Tickets, please!
Tickets and event information available online or by phone. Take a ride on the Dinosaur Train.
Ride the Dinosaur Train in Durango, June 7th through 8th and 14th through 15th.
You're watching Inside Durango News. I'm Ashley Dixon. Here are your weekly updates. Forcor will offer a free Healthy Home workshop from 6 to 7 p.m. on Thursday, May 29th at the Florida Mesa Grange on Colorado Highway 172, just south of the Florida Mesa Elementary School. The workshop will include free radon and carbon monoxide detector kits. Visit forcor.org for more information. Animas River Days begins on Thursday, June 5th with the Celebrate Local Wild Rivers Film Festival starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Smiley Building Theater. Tickets are $10 in advance and $12 at the door. They include food by Zia Taqueria and beverages by Ska Brewing and Zuberfizz. Screening starts at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are available at Maria's Bookshop, Pine Needle Mountaineering, and Four Corners River Sports. In the meantime, competitions will be on Saturday, June 7th at the Whitewater Park on the Animas River. Events include slalom races, dog fetching contests, a border cross event, and a community parade on the river that starts at 33rd Street and ends below Whitewater Park. For more information, visit animasriverdays.org. Monday, May 26th is Memorial Day, so banks, government offices, and many nonprofits will be closed. And Inside Durango News will take a break for the week. We'll return with another edition on June 5th. In the meantime, you can catch past news shows and all of our features on durangotv.com. That's it for this week's Community Updates. The Community Calendar is brought to you by what'shappeningdurango.com. Post your free event today and join the one-stop, easy-to-use events calendar for Durango. I'm Ashley Dixon. Thanks for watching Inside Durango News. And remember, keep watching. You'll like what you see.
Tune in weekly to watch Inside Durango News, your source for information about what's going on in Southwest Colorado. Inside Durango News has been brought to you by Oxford Asset Management, inspiring confidence, growing dreams. Oxford Asset Management.